Hello everyone, my name's Nick, I'm the GPU enthusiast, and today we built a PC for about 150 bucks from parts that were given to me recently by someone that got scammed on Facebook Marketplace. Let's get into it. I also have a time lapse of me building the system at the end of the video, so stay tuned if you want to see that.
So do y'all remember the PC I made about a month ago for about 400 bucks? We actually sold that to someone on Facebook Marketplace recently. And as I was talking to them when we were making the transaction, they had a PC on them that did not work. And it was originally from a Facebook Marketplace trade that took place where he traded his Xbox for a PC that he thought would, be able to work and run a lot of games on it. But he was scammed. The PC did not work. It would not boot, and we'll get into the reasons why. It's actually pretty interesting. But what you see before you is that system. Other than the case and the GPU that's in this PC, all the other parts are from that system. And I thought it would be cool to make a system out of those parts and actually be able to give it to someone or sell it to someone that can actually enjoy it. So let's talk specs. This PC has an i5 3470. It's got 16 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM at 1,800 speed. We got a GTX 1650 Super. We also got a 500 gigabyte hard drive on here. What else we got? We have a 430 watt Thermaltake power supply, and it's paired up with a OEM Lenovo motherboard, which we'll get into that. The primary reason why this thing would not work for the person I sold the PC to is essentially this PC was sold in a case that had a broken front panel. The glass shattered, and so there was no front panel. So if you know anything about OEM motherboards or motherboards that are set to sold on office PCs, you'll know that the main motherboard power connector is usually never the same. Sometimes you need to get a specific 12 or 14 pin power for the motherboard, and the individual that originally owned the system decided to jerry-rig a 700 watt retail power supply to work for this motherboard. And I'm confused by it because you can literally buy a $5 adapter. I think it's either $5 or $6 on the internet to basically get your 24 motherboard power adapted to basically a 14 or 12 pin motherboard power cable. So I'm really confused by why they had to jerry-rig all the stuff. All the fans that originally came with the system too were all kind of jerry-rigged together, cut up and tied together to make them function. I don't know, it was really, really confusing. On top of that, he sold the PC with 500 gigabyte hard drive that had no OS on it. So if you don't know how to install Windows on a PC, which the person that got the trade for the PC did not know how to do any of that, you would not be able to boot an OS, so you wouldn't know what you were doing. With that said, I decided to take all the parts out of the broken case, and I bought this cheap $40 case for, I don't even know the brand, it's some Chinese brand, that we could build the system on and build upon. I took out the RX 580 because I didn't think this system, I think it was overkill for the CPU. So I decided to do a 1650 Super that I had lying around, and I paired it with a 430 watt power supply because again, the 700 watt power supply in this system doesn't make any sense. It's way too much power for what you have here. A lot of these components don't require that much wattage. So we put it in this case. We added some fans right here, as you can see, some RGB fans. There's no RGB fans that I can mount in the back for exhaust, so everything kind of just flows through the case to the back. But you're going to see that the system can actually play quite a few games on it. I was really surprised with the performance on some modern titles, and even a AAA title. We tried Cyberpunk on this thing. You'll be surprised at what we got on there. But yeah, let's get into some benchmarks, and we'll see what we can do from there.
So the first game we threw at this system was CS2. Now it's not a surprise that it can run CS2 fairly well, past 144 frames pretty consistently. No real issues with it. Everything kind of loaded in perfectly fine. The hard drive obviously, holds the system back just a little bit because it does load in a little slower than if you would have an SSD. But overall, really good experience. It ran really well. With game number 2, we're going to step it up a little bit with Apex Legends, and you can tell that the CPU usage here is at 100%, and this is where the limitation of the CPU starts to show. The game ran smoothly, no real stutters or anything. It struggled when I first booted the game, but after that everything kind of just runs smoothly. We can hit about a consistent, 60 to 70 frames per second. Sometimes it goes a little higher and dips below that, but it's very playable, surprisingly. I thought this would struggle a lot more in this game, since it just is a more modern title. The third game we're going to be showing is Ready or Not, and Ready or Not actually ran pretty well. Usually I have trouble with this game because it's not greatly optimized, but we had FSR enabled and we got about 80 to 90 frames pretty consistently. It dipped a little bit when we actually went into the gas station, but overall a really nice experience. So the fourth game I tested was Cyberpunk 2077, and sadly the footage got corrupted and I don't have the ability to record anymore at the moment. So you just gotta take my word for it. It ran for about 30 to 40 FPS pretty consistently. Sometimes had some spikes into the 50s and 60s depending on where I was at. But again, I was really surprised that the system could handle that.
Well, guys, that's going to conclude the video. I really appreciate everyone that watched it. I just want to thank everyone, like I said originally, that everyone's been watching the videos and liking, commenting, subscribing. If you stayed to this point, consider doing that if you haven't already. I'll see y'all in the next video. Hopefully get a video out for y'all pretty soon. My upload schedule's been kind of atrocious, but it's just been hard to record lately and find ideas and stuff to do, to be honest. So I hope y'all have a great day.